was a big shock.
This right here,
And then after that, I just started writing.
Book that she writes in.
I am of the earth and of the sky, at the place at the edge of the light.
Hello and welcome to the Daily Think Share. My name is Zach and today I'm here with Gabrielle. So I met Gabrielle at the TED Talk conference that I did my TED Talk at. She was talking about growth mindset.
I think we shared some of the same quotes in our talks.
I've been working with her for the past month or two on writing a poetry book that she's been working on. So thank you for being with me. And my first question is, what made you want to write a poetry book?
It kind of started back in April. A few months ago, a close family friend passed away. It was a big shock and just sort of a lot of emotions at once.
Yeah.
A poet from London visited my school and ran some workshops, and she was very inspiring. And one day I just went home and picked up my journal and it just sort of happened.
You just started writing
And then
poetry.
after that I just started writing. Yeah.
And I remember you had sent me an email saying I want to write something. What would you recommend? What prompted you to send me that email?
I think hearing your talk at the TEDx conference, I really liked how you shared your journey of writing your book and the whole speak it, believe it, achieve it, sort of three-step idea to go about achieving goals. So after that I was like, well, he wrote his book, he published it, maybe he can help me out.
Awesome. Well, thank you for sending me that email. It's been a pleasure working with you. So for anyone that is interested in working and becoming an author, that you have things written or you have poetry that you're working on, feel free to reach out to me. So as she's been working on her poetry book, this right here is the actual book that she writes in. I've asked her to choose two to read to us. So she's gonna read two of her favorites that are gonna be in her book.
Okay. So this one's called At the Edge of the Light. I exist in a place at the edge of the light, where the sunbeams gently brush the tops of trees' outstretched arms, where colors melt together and then turn into golden dust, which I inhale and it becomes part of me. I am of the earth and of the sky, at the place at the edge of the light.
Now, can you say anything about where that came from inside your brain? What was going on in your life at that moment?
I don't really know at the exact moment, but I was outside and just I don't know, the idea of the earth and of the sky and a place where they meet somehow. And I've always liked playing around with the imagery of colors and personification of colors and of nature too. So it just sort of, I don't know, I think a lot of it is your imagination. It can be a really weird or just a strange idea, something you find interesting that just sort of sparks something.
Yeah. And
if you write it out, you never know what it can end up being.
Yeah, I totally love imagery. Thank you for sharing that with us. I love personifying thought. At the beginning of our coaching sessions, I sent her this book. I told her about I didn't send it to her, I'm not that generous. She got the book called The War of Art, and they personify the idea of resistance. So as any artists out there have experienced before, you want to write something, you almost feel like you should be writing something, but something's kind of stopping you, and the book talks about that feeling is resistance, and it takes us over sometimes. It totally stops us. Stopped me for a year of writing my books.
Sure.
You want to do another one?
Sure. This one is called Poems in the Paper. We heard the sound of music announcing a warning of turbulent times to come. The drums grew louder, the strings stronger, as people crawled out of their shells. Some looked to the sky, some ran to their cars. They didn't know this crisis would leave very long scars. Parents held their children, farmers grabbed their crops, and we prayed and we wondered, when will the music stop?
Any insight into that one?
So this one actually came out of an article in the business section of the New York Times.
Yeah.
I was just reading it. I don't even remember what it was actually about, but it just had these lines. A warning of turbulent times to come. As people crawled out of their shells, this crisis would leave very long scars, and when will the music stop? So I liked those lines. I said, well, they all sort of relate together as sort of impending doom kind of feeling. I was just thinking okay, what if we were actually saying or thinking these kinds of things? What else would be going on? So that's just kind of how it came out.
Thank you for sharing that with us too.
problem.
So how many poems are going to be in this book?
At my last count, it was 125 that I've been working on since that first one back in April.
And when we talked for the first time back in
May,
she said, yeah, I'll probably want to have like 100 in there, and think you had written 15 of them?
Yes.
Then I said, last year I'd come up with a date that I wanted to finish by my birthday, and I said, well, when do you want your finish date to be? She said, well, I think like my birthday in November would be great.
I said, well, you might have to set a little bit more reasonable expectation.
And do it like
for a couple months from now instead.
And so she's written over 100 poems in the past 2 months. So for anyone out there that is working on doing things, I invite you to have a coach, because, not to toot my own horn, but I'm really glad that I pushed her to see that November was not necessary for her to complete this, that you can create awesome stuff in a much shorter period of time, especially when it requires, how much time do you think you spend daily?
the thing about
Or
poetry is,
weekly?
it doesn't take too long, but I'd say maybe 20 or so minutes every morning.
Yeah, so 20 minutes a morning times, so we'll say that's 2 months. So if that's 20 minutes a day times 60 days, that's 1,200 minutes days. So that's 20 hours or so. Think about what 20 hours you could be cutting out of those 2 months. Like maybe it's watching 20 minutes a day of crappy YouTube videos, or like my channel, or maybe it's taking 20 minutes a day to cut out watching the news that you're gonna listen to on the way to work anyway. So it's really about finding 20 minutes that you might want to spend in a different way, so that you can create something that you will be able to look at on your lifetime and say, I'm really glad I did that. Gabrielle, thank you so much for meeting with me and doing this interview. I look forward to bringing you and having her bring you her book way before November. But currently our goal is to hit November 25th.
Yeah.
Where right now she has most of the content she's wanted created, and now we're doing a lot of formatting and figuring out how she wants it to look in a book format. I will be updating you as time goes on as to what there is to come. If you want to inspire a young author or poet to write their own book, share this with them. I'm sure they'll love it. And do you have social media accounts I can put in the description?
Instagram, and that's basically it.
All right, I'll put that in the description below if you want to contact her. If you want to hear more about or talk with her about her TED Talk or her book. If you enjoyed this and you want more, feel free to subscribe. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. If you are interested in watching more and you want to receive updates when I come out with new things, hit the subscribe button and
Stay weird.
later!